Test, test.
Are you guys ready? Ready?
Morning, everybody, and welcome to the AGM for the Gelbvieh Association. To start with, I'd like to thank the Junior Committee for allowing us to do this here. And with that, I will give the microphone to Sarah to start the proceedings.
If everybody could make sure that they sign in at the front here, we have an attendance sheet and then there's packages, or, yeah, Dawn, if you want to circulate it, thank you. There's also some stuff from CCIA and they gave us some little mint packages there, so pick up your package of mints.
And use them, Dawn.
So, yeah, if you could just sign in, that would be great, and then we'll get started here.
Pardon?
Ask for an approval of the agendas.
Can I get somebody to make a motion to approve the agenda? Olivia? Thanks.
You can introduce everybody or just keep it.
Okay, we'll introduce the board to you while we're here. This is Sarah from Shothorse, she's our CEO. To my right is Duncan Pearson, then we have Lorna Oko, Braylon Blake, Cody Conlon, and Vicky Horn. And my name is Eddie Marsman.
Approval of the minutes from last meeting. Approval of the minutes from last meeting.
Can I get somebody to make a motion to approve the minutes for last year's AGM?
Eileen?
Who do we have?
Eileen?
Eileen, thanks.
Seconder?
Seconder,
Aaron?
Aaron Birch. Do we have any old business?
Old business?
Does anybody have anything for old business arising from last year's meeting?
Okay, so for the old business from last year, we have the CCIA tag pricing incentives. So CCIA has provided the opportunity for producers and breed associations to purchase the breed-specific tag gift cards. So you can purchase the gift cards for your commercial customers if you wish to incentivize them to purchase the orangeback tags. The CGA has purchased these gift cards in the past for prizes or giveaways to promote the use, but there are no other programs available to subsidize Gelbvieh tags specifically. And then we had CGA staff and board attendance at Agribition and Farm Fair. So the CGA has been represented at both Agribition and Farm Fair. And so I'll attend any Gelbvieh and industry events when it works for both myself and the CGA as per my contract. And then the board of directors are volunteers and are making their best effort to attend as many events as possible. And then we have the IGS generated selection indexes for Simmental. And so this was brought up at the last AGM as indexes that we weren't accessing. And so we do have the ability to access these two indexes for free, but we have done some looking into it, and we pulled all of the active sires from 2024-2025, which was about 400 bulls, and found that the terminal index is very close to our feedlot index with a correlation of 0.87. So basically the bulls were ranking the same. And then the API was fairly high as well at 0.75. But the biggest difference was that the API appears to put a bit more pressure on marbling, and then our maternal index puts more pressure on heifer pregnancy and stayability. So I guess the board wanted to discuss with membership, do you feel that these two indexes would add to your marketing ability, or would it add confusion for you as producers or your customers if we're doubling our indexes and they're serving a very similar purpose? It's free. So that's why we're asking, like, would it be an added benefit? Because even if it's free, sometimes more information isn't always better. You don't want somebody saying, well, what's the difference between API and your feeder profit index? It's very little, quite honestly. So it's just labeled something different. So the API and the TI, or I'm sorry, the TI and the feeder profit index, the API and TI were designed specifically mating Simmental bulls on Angus females. That's not to say they wouldn't work well for Gelbvieh. They probably would in my discussions with IGS. But it just basically comes down to would adding these indexes and publishing them add to your ability to market bulls?
So, within that ranking, Sarah,
Yeah.
how close are the top Gelbvieh bulls in the same ranking? API to the top 7 bulls. Like, is our top 5% number the same as Sim's top 5%? Are we doing ourselves a disservice? Are we like, if we compare breed to breed, are we ranked 30% less? Are we ranked equal? You know, because yes, I look at it, if I walk in that Pearson bull tag and I'm picking a Gelbvieh and 7 bulls,
Right.
and I look at those indexes, and if every Gelbvieh bull only ranks at the 50% line, then that's a bad idea for us to add those indexes. But if as a breed we actually compare well or look good, then it actually might be a really good marketing tool to those commercial channels. Because then they have a way to compare a Gelbvieh bull and a Sim bull on the same ED profile.
Yeah, okay. So the question is comparing directly between Gelbvieh and Simmental, where are our top bulls ranking percentage-wise compared to the Simmental top bulls? And I don't know because I don't have the top Simmental report, but I could probably get it and ask. I don't have the answer right now.
I think we better look into that.
So we can certainly look into that, and then, I mean, I guess if it is favorably, would people want to see that published?
So if we make a motion from the floor to look into those parameters and then revisit that and then see how those align with the new indexes that the AGA is working on, and if we're better to mirror their new indexes or if we're better to mirror the API and TI.
Sure. Yep.
Sounds like that's the motion.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Joe, please, yeah. That's what I'm asking, yeah. Mm. And that's why I'm asking this question, because if you're adding more information, if you're not doing the education to go along with that additional information, it's not useful.
I think it would actually kick down doors for us on sequencing. It would drive our frozen genetic industry that commercial into the U.S.-based marketplace. I know for a fact I could sell a lot more volume on certain bulls if they mirror well with Sims.
Okay.
Better than.
Okay. Okay, so do you want to make your motion, Rodney?
I move to have the board look into where Gelbvieh bulls would rank compared to Seminole bulls on API and TI, and we revisit next AGM if it's a good decision, and what indexes we may add to our ED profile moving forward.
Yeah. Just to review, to look into where Gelbvieh bulls would rank compared to Simmental bulls on API and TI at the next AGM review if it's a good decision, and which indexes we might add to the EPD profile. Okay. Vern, please. The only one publishing this is Simmental right now, currently. Yeah. Mhm.
Where were we?
Okay, so if there's no other discussion on that, we're gonna move on to the president's report.
Second.
Oh, Jeremiah, thank you.
Jeremiah,
Yeah.
Jeremiah second.
Just
Okay.
say, is there anybody opposed?
Anybody opposed to this? Okay, it's been noted.
Go ahead.
Okay, we'll do our president's report. Already said welcome to everyone, so we'll skip that line. So what's new this year? Your board of directors has decided to discontinue the developments of the new registry with the Hurdle Group. After too many meetings to count, we realized that developing a new innovative registry was not in the cards, and we were going to be working with a registry system that was already built and would not meet the need of our breeders. We lost all confidence in the proceedings and wanted to remain with Digital Beef, now known as 701X. It was unanimously decided that our breeders need a reliable and progressive registry system that helps individual breeders and the breed as a whole move forward. The upside to this is that we will have a registry system that everyone is familiar with, and 701X has several irons in the fire pertaining to added value to the registry, either on an individual basis or to the CGA as a whole. Personally, I am very happy with this path forward. Next subject, CBIN. The Canadian Beef Breeds Council has decided to place the development of this industry-wide tool in the capable hands of Spring Creek Consulting. The main reason for this was that CBIN encompasses much more than just us purebred breeders. It is an industry-wide project. There will be more to it down the road, including the Canadian DNA lab at the University of Saskatchewan in Saskatoon. We'll keep you posted on future developments. Few more interesting things happening in the purebred livestock world. The story with the American Angus Association receiving funding from Jeff Bezos' Earth Foundation for research on methane produced by cattle being one of them. Receiving funding is great, but we should always investigate what the motives behind the funding could be. I am following the story with great interest. In the meantime, cattle prices are holding strong. In my area, we received more moisture this spring than the 3 or 4 previous springs, and I hope this is the case for all of you so we can grow enough feed to maintain our herds. Thank you. I move my report as read.
Okay, so on to the office report. So as of July 2nd, there were a total of 3,977 females assessed. Last year, we had a total of 3,967, so an increase of about 10 cows to date. I would expect this might increase by the end of the year. I think people, just from discussions and stuff, kept things a little bit on the skeptical side, wondering how much moisture they were going to get and all the rest of it. So I think we might see some of those females coming back by the end of the year as well for more registrations. So below, I have the provincial breakdown of the number of members, the percentage of those members registering cattle, and the total number of assessed females in those provinces. The percentage of members registering cattle, just to be clear on why those percentages are perhaps a little lower, is the total memberships include junior members. So not all junior members are registering cattle under their own memberships, and so that's why we see that percentage being a little bit lower. And so I have given the breakdown of the annual members, which is adults, and then the juniors below as well, just to give you guys an idea. So the membership will remain at 150 for 2026, no changes there, and we still are continuing the honorary membership at 75. We do have a handful of these for members who still want to keep their membership and their tattoo letters, but they're not registering cattle anymore, but they still get all of the communications in the Gelbvieh guide as well. Herd assessment fee will remain at $40 per breeding age female in 2026, so no change there as well. This summer, I've attended the first of a series of virtual sessions on utilizing social media, and I look forward to implementing these as we move forward. One of the things I found pretty interesting is that posts that have a human face in them often get more traction than any other kind of post. And one thing I think that we could try out is having each member submit one photo and an interesting thing about themselves or their operation, and we post each day to the Facebook page, the story, and the Instagram page. So basically we'll just start at the top and go down the membership list and just give everybody a post, and that'll help to create some content. I continue to attend the CVBC monthly member updates and stay up to date on information coming from those industry partners, which is shared in our monthly e-newsletter, as well as how best to utilize agri-marketing funding. Earlier this month, I attended a meeting with the other breed managers where we discussed how we might work together on things in the future or change things we are currently doing to better serve the associations and memberships. Some of these things will be touched on throughout the package today. In 2024, we sold 2,700 Gelbvieh tags, and in 2025 to date, there's been 850 purchased. So that concludes my report, unless anybody has any questions about any of that. Okay, I'll move my report as read, and we'll go to nominations committee report.
Thank you to Beth Milne for serving 2 terms on the board of directors. Duncan has agreed to let us stand for 2nd term, so thank you, Duncan. Let's move to the first call of nominations from the floor.
Don?
That was Ryan Carey.
He's not here, but he will accept.
Okay. So the board says that he's not here, but he will accept. Is there any other nominations from the floor?
Someone has to nominate Duncan again. Thank you, Aaron.
Hey, Aaron nominates Duncan Pearson.
And I'll accept.
Duncan accepts the nomination. And not for the first round of nominations?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll move on to the registration committee reports and go back to nominations later.
Sorry, that's less than ideal. Sorry, Cody. Yeah.
Thank you. As of July 2nd, we have a total of 1,766 registrations completed, which is a normal number of registrations for this year. It has increased of 200 registrations completed, has an increase of 200 registrations completed this time of year compared to last year. Please ensure you register all your calves, even those that die or are sold as feeders. They not only contribute to reported statistics, but you have already paid for the cow's herd assessment. You want your cow to get credit for having gotten pregnant and carrying that calf to the point of production applies. That is important when it comes to bees in your herd.
she was unable to make it here today, but, yeah, so the junior committee report, in 2025, there were 84 junior memberships as of July 2nd. Thanks to all those members who have contributed and encouraged our junior members to step up and come to these activities and get cattle on the ground. Congratulations to Lacey Holman and Levi Hamilton for the 2025 junior scholarship recipients. We wish you all the best in your studies moving forward. The Canadian Gelbvieh Association continues to support and promote junior activities through our social media, Gelbvieh Guide, and other publications, which would be Prairie Post, Alberta Beef, and Beef in BC. We're also promoted to the Junior Incentive Program as part of our breed promotion, and the write-up that we provided to the Farm Fair International as part of their social media promotion of breed associations. This year at the Summer Synergy Show, they've made changes to the entries after they closed the entries, I guess. And in previous years, you needed to have 14 entries in order to be your own breed class, but they changed that this year now. So we ended up with 2 juniors going and being able to show in their own Gelbvieh or class, so we supported that and gave sponsorship. So we're just going to follow along for next year and see what the rules will be, I guess. And if there is no minimum number of entrants, the CTA will support it again. The CTA has worked again to access agri-marketing funding for the national junior shows and its international participants. And we also sponsored DLMS to attend the junior national show here. So with that being said, I'd like to congratulate Lacey Holman and Levi Hamilton if they would come up and accept their scholarships. So can I get a round of applause for these guys?
Yeah.
Does Vicky want to come over to the side?
Vicky, you want to come up? Third and final congratulations first.
We'll do that first. We'll do the third and final call for nominations from the floor now. Okay, that concludes our call for nominations from the floor. We will now do our Breed Improvement Committee report.
Sure.
Sorry, the Show and Sale Committee report. Sorry about that.
For our show and sale committee. For our show and sale committee report, we have Farm Fair International is going to be hosted this year, November 5th to 8th in Edmonton, with entries opening on September 1st. The national show will be at Agribition this year, with Mansass celebrating the 50th anniversary. Agribition dates are November 24th to 29th in Regina, Saskatchewan, and entries are due by October 1st. If you're interested in sponsoring, please contact the Mansass Association by September 1st. With that, I adopt my show committee report as read.
Okay, so being as we need the 2 spots and we have the 2 nominations, thanks again, Duncan. You're on the board again for another term, and Ryan Carey as well. So we will move on to the Breed Improvement Committee report here. So the Canadian Gelbvieh Association is participating in a new project called Development and Validation of Molecular Indicators of Heterosis to Enhance Performance in Beef Cattle. And this is funded by ARDAR and Alberta Beef Producers. This project aims to develop simple DNA-based tools that could help producers make better breeding decisions. As part of a previous project, about 900 Gelbvieh cows were genotyped, and now by combining those DNA records with the on-farm performance data like growth, calving, and pregnancy rates, the research team will test and validate new genetic indicators of hybrid vigor. These indicators will be turned into molecular heterosis scores that tell producers how much genetic diversity an animal carries. If successful, this tool would enable Gelbvieh or commercial producers to choose bulls and cows that offer more hybrid vigor potential, manage inbreeding more effectively, improve fertility and productivity across their herds. This project will give producers a powerful, easy-to-use way to tap into the benefits of hybrid vigor, whether in crossbreeding systems or managing purebred cattle. Since August 2024, the CGA has begun discussions with GIFs in Saskatoon under the CBIN umbrella to create a Canadian DNA sample storage and management solution and DNA testing services. This continues to progress, and we have been impressed by both the capability and professionalism of the staff at GIFs. We look forward to this Canadian-based solution where we would receive quality customer service in a timely fashion. So there will be more on this opportunity as it progresses. For the time being, please continue to send your samples directly to Neogen in Edmonton, and then we will be giving you plenty of notice before the transition occurs. We'll have tested the new processes before implementing them and ensure we have a seamless transition. So just to give people a bit of a ballpark, I'm expecting within 5 months we'll be making this change. Right now, GIFs, which is the Global Institute for Food Security, they have been ensuring they have the equipment and the staff to handle breed association data. So the first breed associations that will be switching are ourselves and Senegal. And yeah, it's looking very good. So they have all the equipment there ready. It's not being used. So it'd be nice to be getting that utilized, and then they are just validating that the test, the information that they would be giving back to us is the same as what we're getting now, and IGS is part of that conversation to ensure that, you know, we're not excluding any information that we need or anything like that. So test quality will remain the same, and then they're just developing their technology to be able to communicate back and forth with the association registry systems. So all of that's going really well and looks really positive, and I'm excited for that. So included in the back of this AGM package is a message from Sandy regarding CBIN and its progress to date and transition information. So if you have any questions about that, feel free to follow up with Sandy or myself. We don't need to spend too much time on that. It's nothing that we haven't all, discussed before regarding CBIN. The lab is kind of the new, exciting part of that. So if there's no questions on that so far, then I'll just keep going. Yeah, Jeremiah, go ahead.
So how will that change the process if it's performed on the farm for DNA collection?
Not at all. So DNA collection is going to stay the same with hair or TSU. TSU is always going to be preferred because the machines that are automated can do that whole process. It's not someone physically having to deal with the hair card and extract the DNA. The DNA is extracted within the TSU tube itself, so they just have to take out some of that liquid, and then they actually put solution back in so that it remains full, and then that's why you can take so many samples out of that same tissue plug. Go ahead, Rodney.
I was asked if the new lab that supplies the TSUs, or at least about get those from
I don't know that right now. But I don't know that we couldn't, like, you can get them from Allflex directly as well. But, maybe we can do something through the association too, because we have Allflex tubes all the time, and most of the members that are using them regularly go through me anyways, because I send them out right away and they don't have to go through the online store and all the rest of it. So, go ahead, Eileen. Yeah. How do you mean? So they won't need to work directly with the lab or the AGA. So any DNA profile transition or sample transition comes through the associations anyways. So that process wouldn't change. It would all go through me still. Go ahead. I don't know yet. We're just waiting. They're gonna give a collective pricing to Sandy with CBIN that the breed associations can access. So that should hopefully work in our favor. I don't expect them to go up, let's put it that way. They will either remain the same or be lower, is what they've told us so far. Hopefully lower is the goal. And because we're working under the CBIN umbrella, we get to take advantage of combining with Simmental to get lower pricing. So Neogen, how they do it is they give separate contracts to each breed association. And every breed association gets different pricing. We have higher pricing because we have fewer animals, which it shouldn't really work that way. So hopefully, that's our hope, is we get better pricing. But I don't have an exact number for you right now. That was Sandy's goal by the end of this month, so I'm still waiting to hear on that. Brad, go ahead. Okay, so the reason for the switch is Neogen, for one thing, is for sale. Secondly, we get the worst customer service ever. So pricing is not the only concern here. They have also now said that we have to pay for sample storage. So we have all of our samples. I am storing all of our samples from 2021 forward. Every sample prior to 2021, the breeds are mixed, and they are sorting them. They did not anticipate that all the Canadian breed associations would say, fine, give us our samples. So now they are trying to sort it and are basically incapable. That's a problem. So their sample storage of let's throw everything in a box and hope for the best is an absolute nightmare and not in the best interest of our members. So part of this development with gifts, which Simmental and I have been advocating for, is that we need some kind of sample storage solution that can be managed so that people who get rid of 50 calves as feeders, we don't need to store those samples for 100 years. So they could be able to indicate through an electronic system, I'm hoping the registry, that we can all build it together. Please discard, and those get disposed of. So that we have an active, system of DNA sample management instead of a mess. So there's way more to this than just price that's behind the scenes, that's in the best interest of the members. And so we are looking at all of those angles. So it will be an improvement. Eileen, go ahead. Like, how do you mean? Yeah, like that's our problem. So basically, it's not the new lab, it's our problem and every breed association's problem. So luckily, we don't have as many like blood and freezer issues as every other breed association does. Somehow we're excluded from that problem, but it's the hair. So basically what's going to happen is as soon as they do separate the breed association sample hair, which is they're estimating a year away, then I will get all of those samples, and then the DNA storage assembly will be between me and the new lab, not Neogen and the new lab. If that makes sense. Okay, Aaron or Joe, did you?
Sorry, I was just going to say another major consideration is the length of time it takes to get one of these results back from Neogen as well, and really restricted at this becomes 3 years. So
Yes.
the turnaround time on these samples can be substantially.
Yeah, so Neogen also is kind of, not prioritizing even North American DNA testing. They took Argentinian DNA beef samples in on a big research project right in the fall bulge, which was wild. Like that could have been done at any time. So there's really no consideration for the beef business that they do. And all of this has led to, we need a better solution, and we'd rather support a Canadian business if possible than be shipping samples, because there are other options. There's Zoetis in the US, which Angus is using. That's not a valid option either, because Angus currently has to receive everything in office, package it up, and get it across the border themselves through the airport. I'm not interested in doing that. That would not be a good use of our time, and they're not saving anything. They're not saving in pricing on the test itself either.
No, it works.
Yeah.
Deal with that.
So I think this is a really good solution for us, and Simmental is going the same way. And I expect that every other breed association will be following. Jeremiah, yeah, go ahead.
As we progress from a DNA standpoint, we always want to be able to go back. I think you highlighted this, where it's like, what is the most secure way that we can go back and evaluate our DNA on old things, old sires? So how confident do you feel moving forward that that data is going to be sound, that if there's a new EPD or a new index, that we can go back to?
Yeah, so we talked to, okay, sorry, I'll repeat the question. So he's wondering, what's the ability going to be to go back to the genotype itself in future if there's new EPD development, looking at new markers, or making sure that we collect a comprehensive genotype so that we have that ability in future. And yes, we have discussed that. We've made sure that that's a priority, and that's why IGS is so involved in the conversation as well, is because they know which markers they're currently using, but they also know the genes that are of interest, let's say. So they may not necessarily be being used in the evaluation right now, but they are of interest and in future could be used to make sure that we're collecting all that information. Yeah, you bet. Is there anything else? Okay. Is there anything online? Okay, so we're gonna move on now. So to date, there are 176,763 animals with the Canadian Gelbvieh prefix in the IGS evaluation. There are 824 sires with the Canadian Gelbvieh prefix that have progeny in the CGA and other breed databases, which creates a 13-fold increase in the number of records going back to these sires because we're participating in the multi-breed evaluation. So for every one progeny in the CGA database, there are 13 in other databases as well from these specific 824 sires, which is on par with an IGS database average across the breeds. So the majority of these progeny from these 824 sires are found in Canadian Angus, American Gelbvieh, American Red Angus, and then Canadian and American Simmental, with smaller contributions from other breed databases as well. One of the most impressive summary statistics in the IGS report was that we have 24% of our animals genotyped in the IGS evaluation, which is 6,287. The percentage increase from 2023 to 2024 was 28%, which is the highest year-over-year increase we've had yet. So I'm really proud of this and the programs and member education that the CGA has organized and put a lot of focused effort into the last 5 years. It's really worked and continued to grow and be adopted by new and existing members. IGS has a DNN tool which acts as quality control on birth weight records. So any birth weight records that don't fall within an expected biological distribution within a contemporary group will result in that contemporary group being excluded from the evaluation for birth weight EPDs. In 2022 to 2023, we had an increase of 2% in these excluded birth weights. From 2023 to 2024, we had an increase of 7% in birth weight exclusions. So in the birth recording screen, we have a drop-down menu after you record your birth weight to select how you are measuring it. Scale, estimate, hoof tape, or a guess. You need to be honest, for one thing, about the method But also this tool, so these are obviously fabricated birth weights. So we've had previously an increase of 2%. This past year we had an increase of 7%. So I'm not sure where that's coming from at this point, but I will be looking into that. But just know that it's getting kicked out anyway. All other trait reporting is on par or above average compared to other breeds within the evaluation. Some things that IGS is working on and data that we are reviewing on an ongoing basis include EPD development for mature cow weight and cow energy requirement. One thing to note when it comes to ET calves is we need to include age and breed makeup as close as possible on recipient dams assigned to ET calves. So weaning and yearling EPD evaluations take into account the age of the dam and maternal heterosis adjustments. So if you have a commercial recip dam in the system and you don't have these specifics indicated, the age and the breed makeup, we need to go back and add those in. And I have a list and I'll work with the breeders to go back and do that. So I've just included a little graph which depicts the number of Canadian Gelbvieh records by sex for each trait, just of interest, so that you can see the difference between male and female. And with that, those are the highlights from our IGS report. And now I would like to, oh, I'm sorry, was there a question? Aaron? Sorry. Yes. Yes, go ahead. Something that's obviously fabricated. So if you, they don't really give us exactly how they're picking that out because they don't want people to figure out how to trick the tool. But to give you an example, if you're ending every birth weight in a 0, that's probably 1, right? There's no chance all of your calves were 80 pounds. There's probably a 78. There, you know what I mean? Like, so there are other methods in there too, but like to give a fairly obvious example, that would be one thing. The contemporary group. Mm-hmm.
So you have all your calves in one contemporary group, it's the whole group.
Correct. Yeah, just the, so if you're it's by contemporary group. So if your contemporary group is, let's say, obviously fabricated is the word they used when we had our meeting, they kick out that contemporary group.
So Sarah, were you given any examples that you could go back through yourself and then go, okay, the program picked it up, but it's probably not wrong?
Yes, so they did say there are some of those, but very few. So we don't get like an individual report on this, and we've never been a high enough percentage to go, that's a lot of animals, until now.
But it seems like the 2 is 7%.
It is. So I've asked for a list of what they are, and then I can pinpoint where it's coming from.
Maybe it's just re-educating on like
Absolutely.
that entry, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So that's why I'm saying we have the drop down next to the birth weight entry. Use it. Because if you did guess, say you did. Don't say you used a scale if you didn't. It's not helping. Because they've adjusted the evaluation to account for people who don't have a scale. They're using a hoof tape, but they're still collecting information. So they've made those adjustments accordingly. Go ahead.
So with the size of our herd book, what is the downward effect of dropping some of those cattle and then becoming herd sizes or gaining program?
I guess it depends how many progeny they have. Go ahead.
So if we have calves born with their outside of our expected,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, I guess it's so they, that is after two or three, or after
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So depending on the age, like if you have really early calves or if you have really late due to age.
But I think he's not maybe on this date, he's referring to their particular.
Gestation date.
So,
Right. So there is a normal distribution within a contemporary group. They're expecting a certain, if you know, like, so a normal distribution is like this. The bulk are here. There's a smaller percentage of really small ones. There's a smaller percentage of really big ones. So they're accounting for some of that. But when I say normal distribution, it's mostly looking for the obviously fabricated. Right? So your one-off big one is not a problem. Or even your 3% big ones. Right? It's everything ends in a 5. Everything ends in a 0. Exactly. Right? Because that's not realistic. Any more on that? Okay, so we've done something a little different this year, and we are going to do a little 8-minute brainstorming session on what members feel they want the CGA to focus on in terms of genetic advancement of the breed, or how we could support members going forward. So example would be tools or resources we can provide, and how we could best provide those. So some of the things we've discussed at the board table, or some of the things we are currently doing, and senior members, I encourage you, if you would, to participate. This is something you can participate in, okay? So currently we do articles in the Gelbvieh Guide and an e-newsletter, and one of the new things we've discussed is developing a YouTube channel with member education and producer education in general, that would, drive maybe other commercial producers to look at our channel on just things in general. So we could do something, say, with CCIA on new regulations that might be of interest to the whole industry as well as breed-specific things. The other thing we have discussed is the possibility of organizing an ultrasound, I don't know what you want to call it, like train kind of or something, where maybe we could work with an ultrasound tech, because I know there have been a few members that have struggled to be able to get somebody to come to their place. So we're just wondering about the possibility if we did it kind of like how they do the wish list pictures and said, okay, he's coming to Aaron's place and Dawn's place and Xander's place. How many people in that radius can we get to take their animals there possibly? Is there an interest to do this? If not, fine. But if there is, could the CGA help in organizing that, for example? So we'll just take 8 minutes here, and if you guys could discuss amongst yourselves, and then we'll regroup and see what people have suggestions for.
If I'm honest, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just wandering the ruins, looking for a place to start. If I'm honest, I don't know who I am. All I see is a man who's waiting for a wake-up call. So won't you touch this heart that doesn't have a song to sing, and sing it to me, sing it to me. Open up my mind, I cannot find a melody, and sing it to me, sing it to me. Keep singing.
We're rounding out our 10 or 8 minutes here. Okay, so I don't want to put anybody on the spot, but I kind of will. Aaron, do you guys have anything that you want to share? Okay, yeah, please, that'd be great.
So we were just discussing more on the side of getting these cattle in front of commercial producers. So one just idea we had, Grant brought it up, they're in the yards at Agribish, and there's the pen show there. There's not a good Gelbvieh representation there. So not only doing something to encourage commercial producers, not only at Agribish, but any pen shows. Like Frontier Days here last month, right on these grounds, for example, has a pen show. Is there some kind of an incentive that possibly the Gelbvieh Association could do, like even Sammy suggested maybe pay your hotel room, or even if it's like $100 or whatever, if you show a pen of commercial cross, whatever, at any pen show, is there an incentive for commercial producers to possibly do that? Whether that be like $100 or pay for a hotel room or whatever it is. Not necessarily saying, okay, if you win, you get this, but if you show up with and display on the pen that they're Gelbviehs, is there an incentive that we can maybe give to these commercial producers to get those cattle out in front of people in real life? And then the other thing we talked about is going back to promoting what the best thing about the Gelbvieh breed is the females. Going back to that maternal side, just really getting that home, and anything that we're sending out in terms of information and promotion is just hitting home that maternal piece and how good a cow is going to make. So that's the main thing.
Thanks, Aaron. Excellent, thank you. Joe, does anybody want to come up from your group? Okay.
So these ideas are entirely from the four girls that I was sitting with at the table there. They mentioned the YouTube station, and there could be value in that, but I don't know that many people have opportunities to sit and watch YouTube. We listen to things while we're driving. So look at a podcast station, and this was an entry of Skylar Schmitz a year ago to do your show, was to create a Gelbvieh-specific podcast. There were just 29 podcasts entered in this show, and the content is already available. So create a Gelbvieh-specific podcast station. A second idea was, there's two ideas here connected to frozen genetics. The first one is to create an annual frozen genetic catalog that breeders can be consigned to. It's not a sale, it's just a collection of genetics that are available to be distributed, either virtually or in print, so that people could know where options are. I know that we get messages a lot on our personal Facebook page. What do you have for semen, commercial priced, those things. Another idea, and this came through a conversation with an AI tech just the other day, who just bred over 4,000 heifers to one Angus bull because they were able to access semen at an affordable commercial price. So they used one bull on 4,000 heifers. So is there an opportunity to partner with people like these AI techs that we could gather, put up semen at cost, we could provide the semen at cost, we would be able to then track the data on those cattle right from birth all the way through slaughter, because many of these
Thanks, girls. And Joe. Okay, that's great. No, we appreciate the podcast, and I'm kind of sensing we might not need the second 8-minute brainstorming session because we're kind of crossing between breed improvement and advertising, which is totally fine. They kind of go hand in hand. So yes, we have discussed the podcasts and their availability, and we appreciate that. Back table, Davidson's and crew. Olivia, Brad, you're all kind of wondered there. Oh, sorry. That's okay.
Okay, so I'm representing the south half of the group, for people that were sitting there. So we did also kind of expand on the podcast idea, so that was, but we were actually thinking of moving that in with the YouTube channel as well. So we can actually easily make podcasts into a YouTube, I guess, playlist. And also our YouTube, we envisioned it to be commercial generating. So not so much teaching our members how to do things. We want it to be more like public facing, so that your average YouTube user, if you're just searching, maternal breeds on YouTube, we want our channel to show up so that people can understand what we want to do. And also we can include things like historical profiles on that too. There's a whole bunch of different playlists we can do with YouTube, incorporate feeders, feedlots, and products, all parts of the value chain, not just preaching to the converted. We already know how great Gelbvieh is. How do we get that to a broader audience for sure? And we did mention to keep the social media going, so we want to keep all demographics engaged in what's happening. And I think, that is one thing that a lot of demographics have in common is we all have Facebook, whether we love it or not. We're kind of all checking things out, so those posts are really helpful. And then also, when it does come in terms of getting information from our membership to our membership, some of us really like those e-newsletters, so it seems like the content is super well timed. I need to remember how to do something, and there's like an e-newsletter in my mailbox saying, this is how you do it, and I'll just go back and check that out. So,
Sarah. Thank you. The north half of that group.
Very good morning, board members, as well as membership. So I guess on the other end of the table, we're looking at as far as breed marketability of advertising and promoting Gelbvieh as the ideal or the prime crossbreed choice. Meaning that basically represent every month or whatever, and pick a different breed, how well they run as a crossbreed program, finding someone that does a Gelbvieh Charolais and a Gelbvieh Angus mix, running that balancer is the key one that everyone knows, but let's breed it as Gelbvieh Simmentals. What are those crosses looking like? How well are they working for that farmer or individual? Just trying to represent that they are the breed, the ultimate breed of choice for crossbreed on programs, and try and increase their memberships based on percentage and balance of cattle.
Excellent, thank you. Dawn and Xander, yes or no?
Brainstorming, do whatever you want.
I have more to say on the advertising component probably, but just interested, I guess, in the meat data and getting actual numbers for carcass information. I know that those numbers existed years ago. I don't know if they're relevant anymore or if we have access to those anymore or what it would take to get more of that research. I think we all know that we have a great product. Gelbvieh cattle are great. I just want to figure out how we can get that information out to other people that don't know that. A lot of my customer base, I tried to run a poll this year as I'm delivering bulls and say, why are you guys buying Gelbvieh bulls? And I was hoping to find people that have been in it for years and years, but most of my customers are pretty new to it. They're like, well, we heard about it, we're trying it out. So they don't have those rock solid experiences that they base their
Like they're not a rock solid customer and I want to firm up those connections. I think that as they use the cattle, if I'm producing cattle that are up to the merit, then they should sell themselves, but I want to get those cattle out to people that don't know that and try and share the story. I don't really know how to do that on my own, but I'd like to see our advertising, if we can get those stories about all the reasons why we love Gelbvieh cattle and tell people that don't know those things, because I think we're a really undervalued breed in the commercial eye, at least. People don't know what we have to offer. Yeah, that's
Okay, so that's really good. Yeah, and I think, advertising is one of those tricky things sometimes, and we'll get into that report, but, you want to know, well, what is working? And I think maybe that's something that, you could ask your customers, well, how did you hear about me? Or how did you hear about the Gelbvieh breed? And if it's something that the CGA's done, please tell me, because I'd love to know if something's working. A lot of the things we do, it's actually kind of hard to measure, right? How do you measure your return on investment? And that can be tricky. So I think when you have those conversations with people, please ask. And if it's something that I can take that and either change or make better what we're doing, that's great information. But also for you as an individual, I think that's how you can, if you know, oh, well, this ad in this area really worked, I'm going to keep doing it, right? And maybe try that in new areas, but certainly ask those questions. That's great. Fellas in the front here. And Shelby. Sorry, Shelby.
You guys gonna sing a song or what?
No, we're just gonna take up the table.
Go ahead. Yeah, it's on. Go for it. You're live.
We'd like to kind of change the AGM scheduling wise. We think it would raise attendance rates. Because of right now, there's a show day, we farm and animals being ready. This is our big day, big event, coming to display our animals. Maybe if we have that AGM on Thursday instead of our last day of show day, how many people come to the AGM to stay for the rest of the show and watch the events through Friday and then on Saturday, and then see what we can do and no place for people coming to watch instead of people coming to watch one day coming down and almost a waste of a trip for length of time you guys travel to get here. But I think it would be more useful for a couple day vacation or come down and watch us.
Well, you're there, say something.
Also trying to promote or do a whole bunch of events that'll keep adults around for the actual show, and just wanting to keep more people around so we actually have an audience for our finishing show days. Like today, we want an actual audience so that we can go out there and prove that we know how to do this, and just try and do more showing and actually feel like you're being watched and actually have an audience, not just everybody showing up on the last day. Maybe also encouraging more commercial kids to just come out and showcase whatever they have with their Gelbvieh breed. I think that would go with getting more people to attend the show, making it a little bit more competition and help us out with that.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, guys. Okay, Rodney and crew. Yes, no?
So what we discussed was how can we create partnerships, so whether that be through CMIX or Select Sires, how is there a way that potentially you can say, hey, you go out and find some really cool heifer bulls with different genetics that fit their criteria. And it doesn't fall on the breeders, it actually falls on a specific company. So again, something like, it's just like sires, where they can do their normal tours, but it actually gets it out in front of commercial cattlemen, and especially on the frozen side. I think that's where, as a breed, we can continue to move forward and be progressive. So, yeah.
Oh, is it there? Oh, my apologies.
Okay, as an advertising committee this year we committed to sponsoring the LMAC competition that occurred in Brandon, Manitoba. The American Gelbvieh Association also sponsored the Livestock Marketing Association Convention and World Livestock Auctioneer Competition. As part of this sponsorship, they get their logo on a champion truck. This year, Dean Edge was the champion, and the truck came up to Canada. All breeds associations sponsored this event, and we looking at ways that we could collaborate to make our collective sponsorship more meaningful and valuable for all the associations. Nothing has been decided yet. The CGA has also committed to sponsoring the Medicine Hat Pen Show, Farm Fair, and Exhibition. Co-op advertising will continue as long as there is membership participation. Publications supported last year included Australia Gelbvieh Magazine, Beef and BC, Prairie Post, Alberta Farmer Express, Manitoba Cooperators, Saskatchewan Ag Dealer. We committed event info from the AGM and junior shows to Alberta Beef Magazine for free. We also participated in purebred section of Canadian Cattlemen and other breed news sections. This year, the board of directors decided to try something new and create more of an online advertising presence. We have monthly online ads through Farmzilla. This started in April, and we have promoted the junior show and the Gelbvieh as junior projects to date. In the fall, we will focus on female and female sale promotion, and then through the winter and spring, we'll focus on terminal benefits and bull sales. This online ad is $50 a month, and you can include 10 photos with a description and contact information. It also comes with a classified ad in the Western Producer, limited to 5 lines of text. We have a banner on DLMS homepage and a banner on the feeder calf sales with the intent of reaching more commercial markets. Since placing ad on DLMS homepages has been clicked on a total of 114 times by 94 unique viewers. We have one highway trailer located near Maple Creek, Saskatchewan. Going to do some 8-minute storming. Are we going to still do that?
5 minutes.
5 minutes? On what about Gelbvieh breed members would like to see promoted and how? Where do you, as a member, see the value in advertising and promotion money spent? New initiatives discussed at the board included bale wraps to be advertised roadside, possible collab with the organizations, videos to be published to YouTube channel, breed promotion, commercial focus, do some focused member education advertising on ability to register percentage cattle, and have other breed pedigrees entered into digital beef and represented on the insult progeny pedigree, and also interest in the junior podcast. So I don't know if you want to do that in there?
Here. Okay, so just a couple things. No. So, yeah, I think, one of the things that I want to note is the online ads was one of the junior projects last year. And so the board does take into account what the juniors are doing with their time and the suggestions they're making. So we do appreciate your attendance here and all the things you're doing at the junior show. And I just wanted to mention that to all the young people here. So yeah, maybe we'll keep this a little bit shorter in the interest of time. We'll just, these kids have a show to get to. So we'll just do a few minutes here. And then if anybody has anything, a few people touched on advertising already. So if you have a new idea, maybe just give a wave and we'll just go through it now. Eileen, go ahead. Okay, so just to repeat the question, we're currently giving the Gelbvieh Guide to people who have purchased an animal within the last 3 years. And the question is, should we be increasing that? I guess we'll look to people's comments. Increasing it to 5 years would be an increase in revenue or expense of $5,500, taking into account any funding that we do get for it. So it could be more of an increase if we don't get funding. This year, the CGA is going to come ahead with $3,300. So if we did increase that, the CGA would take a loss, or it would have to come from somewhere else. One thing about the magazine is it is the same people who support it every time, basically. So I guess it's up to the membership, and I look for your thoughts on whether you think that would be of value or not. Also realizing that if we increase that expense, it probably has to come from somewhere else. So for 4 years. Yeah. So I think one thing for these things, even possibly the index thing, is the CGA should look at doing a follow-up survey where we get a more comprehensive view of not just the 10 members represented here today. So if we do a poll on these things, then we can get a comprehensive view of what people are thinking and what they find valuable. If that sounds beneficial.
On the flip side of that, Eileen, too, like, if someone did have a bull that worked for him for 7 years, a Gelbvieh bull, you're not going to be, well, I better go try an Angus bull now because this Gelbvieh did me so good, right? Like, you're going to go back and try and find that Gelbvieh breeder. So do you think there is that much benefit of giving that magazine there? They won't find that Gelbvieh breeder? Okay.
I think too, like, people maintain their own mailing lists, and if you want to send a magazine out to someone every year for 10 years, like, you're certainly welcome to do that. The CGA has to accommodate a wide variety of members doing a number of different things as well. Go ahead.
Sure, one of the things they did, the probably the most that I heard the Gelbvieh and this Gelbvieh talk about, and I'm a podcast listener, huge podcast listener, listen right now, remember in the tractor, Gelbvieh sponsors the Working Ranch Radio,
Okay.
and at the beginning, middle, or first 5 minutes of each of their listener sponsors, and sponsor the American Gelbvieh Association.
Right.
And get a little blurb, and if you look at their, look up Working Ranch Radio, you can see the hashtag Gelbvieh.
Okay.
That's the thing, commercial guys, not marketing for ourselves.
Yeah.
And I think that's great. It's kind of annoying that it also does some of all too, but like,
Sure.
control these things are sponsorship, that's really good. But
Yeah.
we listen to Plain Canadian podcasts too, there's plenty of opportunities there.
Okay. Thank you. That's very helpful. Fern, go ahead. I don't know if I heard the question right. So,
Is that cap?
for calf registrations, you mean? Yeah, so some people register their calves in the fall. July? Oh, for herd assessment. So, yeah, you have the option, so if you wanted to pay your bill all as one, we have one person who does that. No, everyone has done their herd assessment. So the cows are all done, but the registrations of the calves themselves. Yeah, so all of the money's been paid on all the assessments. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, no problem. Oh. Yeah, so some people dispose of cows if they don't want to include them in their herd assessment and register a calf. I think some people were on that disposal key a little heavy, just because in the past few years it's been a little harsh on a lot of areas with drought. So I expect that we'll retrieve some of those cows back within the next couple of years. So what I'm saying is the growth we had from 2023 to 2024, or 2022 to 2023, and then a bit of a loss into 2024, I expect we'll recover those numbers back. I don't think we're on a down, is what I'm trying to say as a trend. I think it was maybe a little blip, but I think with the rest of the associations, we'll see an increase in the next couple of years. Sorry, yeah. Okay, no, thank you. DLMS online? Has Manitoba AX considered our sponsorship yet? No, nobody's contacted us. Thank you. Anything else online? No. There were a couple people who liked the ultrasound reading online. But I think that could be included in the poll easily. Okay, so if nobody else has any other, oh yeah, Maureen, go ahead. Billboards. One. Gelbvieh.ca. Go to this website. Because it has a beautiful cow on it. We've kind of moved away. We used to have 6 trailers. We've kind of moved away from trailers, and we're trying some other ideas now because they do eat up a huge portion of the budget, each trailer. This one's a little more cost effective, so we've moved to just the one now. The also expense with those highway trailers is sun-faded banners, and the idea that you have to keep those up and looking good or else it looks really bad. And those aren't cheap either. So we tried it. It did drive some activity towards the website when they go up, but again, it's also hard to manage that attraction over time. So we've kind of switched to some other initiatives that have come up. We haven't, but I mean, not to say if there's an affordable space somewhere, like feel free to send it our way and then we can look at it.
So we just moved that trailer last fall, I think it was. And because we didn't have anywhere located in Saskatchewan, we had quite a few in Alberta. The Alberta prices were kind of going higher, so we got one into Saskatchewan. And I hope everybody has seen it, it's just outside of Maple Creek. And it's quite large, you can't miss it. And when we first started doing trailers, we talked to a lot of people that have these trailers, and there's only like how many seconds you see that when you drive. So you can't have a bunch of words. The cow should bring you to the trailer right away, and then you see Gelbvieh. So it's very abrupt if you actually drive by. So I think it's very good way to advertise, and I think the Saskatchewan people hopefully are happy that we've got one in Saskatchewan. And then we just wanted to make sure that we let everybody else have an opinion, and they wanted us to try to do more online stuff, so that's kind of why we went to a little more that way and save some money dropping a few trailers.
I did have somebody mention that this is a trailer that we're no longer renting anymore, that still has our banner up.
Yes.
Yeah, they just said Panoka or something?
Yeah, they're still there.
Yeah.
And there's one in Saskatchewan studio.
Davidson's? Davidson?
No,
the
it
one at
moved
White
from there.
City is still there
Oh,
too,
White
I think.
City, yeah.
Yes.
So
Yeah,
they
it's
probably
still
just
there.
haven't taken the banners down,
No.
but they haven't charged us, I believe, on them. Well, we would probably have to take them down ourselves. So are they gonna take them down? Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's kind of not a good deal to hang those things, that's for sure.
Which one?
Tents? Oh, it's still up.
Is that the White City?
Yeah, it's still there.
Yeah. Probably some of these places probably,
Free.
they don't have advertising for them, and they're maybe just not taking them down. They just want to leave something on there so it's great for us. We're getting free advertising by it, and that's great. I'm not going to rock the boat and tell them to take them down.
What? What did he say? Oh,
Here.
yeah, you're over.
I'll just mention to them that our banners are getting faded and can you please take them down? But I can't make them, so. Yeah, the banners themselves are very expensive too, is the problem, and they're the full-size ones, and that's why we moved to the half-size too, it's more effective, but. Rodney, please, yeah.
So then, could we at least, look into, like, I really think that ring is sweet, like, if you had a half banner, and I get that Gelbvieh.ca and the picture cow should draw most cattle into it, but I don't think it's effective advertising. People want something catchy, and I think before, in my opinion, we had like production, profit, and some lame catchwords that are not catchwords. It was boring.
Performance, production,
It
profit.
was, yeah, boring, simple wording, which is good on a website, but not as a drive-by ad that is like you have to check it out. I don't care.
So can you please suggest your slogan?
No, I mean, I don't have one right now that's better, but I think if you have that smaller size banner, let's say that, yeah, there's an additional cost, but you could strategically place it for egg and motion, and you could strategically place it for another large-scale event.
I don't think those places want year leases.
You have to sign leases for at least a year, and every time you move it is hundreds of dollars as well. So it's a fantastic theory, I get what you're trying to achieve, but would you rather have the money spent doing that and get rid of what? Because it has to balance at the end of the day.
Because what were our trailers 5 years ago? We were spending 20 grand, weren't we? Or,
Yeah, so the trailers were like $4,500 a year for the big ones, plus the banner. So a half-size banner is $900. So a full-size banner is at least double that.
And we had how many trailers?
And we had 5 trailers. 4 of them were full-size, 1 was half-size.
so we were spending 20 grand a year.
So, yeah, 20 grand a year in trailers alone. So, I mean, if the membership thinks that that's of value, we can go back to that. But there's a lot of people that were like, it's time to try something new, and that's what we did. So, I guess this is why we're having this discussion. What do you think is value for the money spent? This is what we need to know. Xander?
This is just an idea that I had probably about a year ago in conversation, and I don't mean to step on anyone's toes or to say we're not doing it right. I just wonder if there's a time to bring in marketing firm or marketing professionals. There's people out there who are phenomenally good at graphic design and coming up with slogans and getting stuff out there. I know that that stuff is not good, but there's value, there's a point, I guess, where that investment could potentially pay us back. I don't know where that point is or how much budget that would take up or where, but is it worth looking into? I guess just the trailer says Gelbvieh.ca. I pull up my phone and I go Gelbvieh.ca, but I don't feel like that message on the website says why Gelbvieh. It has different breeders on it, has pictures of cows on it. But so I've seen the trailer, I've gone, but is there a message for my commercial customer or any prospective customer that drives that point home about this is why Gelbvieh? So just a thought.
Yeah, so the board has discussed before looking at getting a marketing company, whatever you want to call them. Yeah, it is expensive. If that's something the membership thought we should invest in, then of course we could look at that. One of the things that I had an idea for is applying for a summer student and getting possibly like a media-focused summer student to do some stuff for us, and there's grants for their pay. So it wouldn't be a cost, but it might be somebody who's more focused in that area that could give us some new ideas. I know that Hereford invested a lot. They hired the people who did the Travel Alberta tourism work, and it was very expensive. It was upwards of over $20,000, and did it do anything for them? No. They're shrinking. They have their better your beef that people are using right now, but I mean, we could easily come up with something like that and ask the members to do it. But then the members have to do it. And it all kind of comes back to that. If we want to grow, we can't also be focused on the individual, right? So the better your beef works that way, but I don't think we need to spend over $20,000 for that program. Does anybody have anything else on advertising? Anything else? Good, okay, then we'll move on.
So we'll do the governance committee report. No notices of motion were brought forward by membership of CGA this year. And now we'll move to the financial committee report. Sarah.
So the audited financial statement was sent out for last year by March 31st, and it'll be sent for 2025 by March 31st, 2026. They're distributed by email and available by mail upon request. So for the AGM, we've provided an interim financial statement up to June 30th month end. So you can please review the documents attached, and the Board of Directors receives these reports every month. If you have any questions, feel free to contact the office at any time, or the CGA directors, or if you have questions now, please let me know. Is there any questions? Yes, Sarah, please. Yes. So the members are billed ahead of us getting the invoice from Neogen. So we bill the members up front to make sure that we're not out the money. And then the Neogen invoice comes at the end of every testing cycle. So that's why you see such a discrepancy there. Any other questions? Maureen? Increase in the Gelbvieh guide budget. Printing and mailing increase. No, just the cost itself per issue. Any other questions? Okay, seeing none, you guys can ask me questions anytime.
I mean, it's just a budget. I mean, it's not saying.
Oh, yes, we were gonna make a note on the budget. So the budget that you see printed in here today is the budget that we had initially approved for this year when we were doing the registry change. So on the expenses, last line item, you see registry development for $17,000. So because we aren't doing that anymore, your software and EPD runs should increase to about $42,000, which is also dependent on Canadian exchange rates. So that's my estimate based on today's exchange rate. And then you would get rid of the $17,000 registry development. The other thing is you would add in $500 for Hall of Fame and increase advertising, marketing, promotion to $22,000 for a profit of $3,300. Are there any questions on that?
Do you expect to actually be close to that 160,000, all inclusive?
Yes. This is first half.
Yeah, I
So
wasn't sure like where those numbers came, sure what you see in office.
Yeah, no, so the all-inclusive, that's only the first half billing for most people who get this 2 halves. So the people with under 30 head all pay in one billing. Anybody with over 30 head gets the option to pay either all in March or half in March, half in July. And I only have one person who pays all in March. So everybody else with over 30 head, their second half came in July.
I just wasn't sure, you said you picked up some jobs.
Yeah, it might be more than 160, but I don't want to, think we're going to bring in all this money and then fall short. So that's reasonable with what I'm expecting. Are there any other questions? No? Oh, thank you. Yeah, so the first one is the profit loss, and then we have the balance sheet showing assets and other things. And then the third report is an expense detail, so that shows you every single cent that's spent. Okay, so with that, we will move to the ratification of the actions of the Board of Directors. So can I please get somebody to make that motion?
Rodney, can we have a seconder?
Xander.
Sandra, thank you. And then now we'll move on to report for the Alberta and BC Gelbvieh Association. Olivia? Thank you.
Okay, so I hope everyone had a great calving season with some new and exciting prospects out on pasture, and everyone has received the right amount of moisture and ample grass. As we prepare for another exciting year, we'd like to invite everyone to Farm Fair International, November 5th to the 8th. We are looking forward to our annual wish list weekend as per usual. Please join us in Stettler to see a stellar collection of Gelbvieh genetics and our camaraderie. As early entries have started to come in, we are already having a shape up of some exciting new exciting new options to shop for your next herd edition. The board has been working hard to prepare for our event and would like to invite everyone to join us for the festivities. Both on the female and the bull charity side, the two work hand in hand. If you wish to consign, please follow up with myself or Tom Fluid. We'd like to thank Gelbvieh Livestock for donating our female this year, the donation heifer. We appreciate the support and are excited to see her actually here at the junior show. So you'll be able to see her early. The donation heifer is our primary fundraiser, and having heifers like hers makes second seals very easy. Our junior incentive program continues to be extremely exciting amongst the juniors and amongst the 4-H members that are looking to promote and purchase their own females showing Gelbvieh genetics. We continue to see more new members submitting entries and are on the road showing. Thank you to all of our breeders who helped contribute to that program. Without you guys, that program does not exist. So thank you very much. In conclusion, the Alberta BC has been brainstorming some new ideas to promote Gelbvieh and the Gelbvieh breed that will help benefit our members. Please stay tuned for more details as the year progresses. I wish you a wonderful summer and hope everyone is blessed for fall and great cattle prices.
Thanks, Olivia. Matt's asked, is there anybody? Oh, Arlene, thank you.
Cynthia's not here today. I'm sure that she sends her regrets. The Matt's house, we've been doing a few things here and there, but this is what Cynthia has written up. It has been a great year. Market prices continue to be high. Mother Nature has not been as cooperative this year. Hopefully, everyone is able to produce enough feed and keep cows on pasture till fall. This past year, we set up a booth at Manitoba Ag Days. It was well attended. We sent out 54 tokens to 4-H members and sponsored a few junior shows this past summer. Congratulations to all the youth involved. This year, the Matt's House celebrates 50 years. We'll have our national show at exhibition, and we're hoping that all of you can attend.
Thank you, Annie. Kelsey?
You want to add this quickly? She missed that part. Last couple lines.
Oh, thank you to Diamond Zed Livestock, the Zelenko family, for donating this year's donation heifer. Your support is greatly appreciated.
Hello, everyone. On behalf of the Canadian Junior Gelbvieh Association, we would like to thank you all for your support this past year. Our juniors on the board include Kelsey Schmitz as your president, Shelby Horn as your vice president, Aspen Blake as your secretary, Colby Holman as your treasurer, Cam Davidson, Rayleigh Little, and Ethan Carell as your members at large. We also have Jessica Pearson and Braylon Blake as adult advisors again this year. The 2024 Canadian Junior Gelbvieh Show took place in Stettler, Alberta from July 25th to 27th. Juniors competed in many different competitions individually, but also teamed up for a few as well. The show built many friendships that will last a lifetime and ultimately created more growth for the Gelbvieh breed. The 2025 show is currently being held here in Swift Current from July 25th to 27th. All board members worked hard putting the show together with help along the way from many volunteers. I wrote that there are 57 participants, but there is actually 62 in this show. We are very excited to see the juniors be successful all weekend and promote the breed. We would also like to thank all of our generous sponsors and everyone who has helped out so with this show. The work that everyone puts in doesn't go unnoticed, and we appreciate it so much. Without everyone, we would not have the show we have today. Also, I'd like to mention that we have a lot of shirts and hoodies left over, and we're trying to get rid of them, so if you would like to buy one, come see me. And feel free to reach out to any of the juniors with any questions or concerns. Thank you.
Thanks, Kelsey.
Okay, now we move on to new business. Does anybody have any new business? Rodney?
And we have just a few upgrades on the 701X looked at, which would be like the ability to transfer ownership of dams and those with possession, semen interest, and embryo interest separate.
Yeah, so we're looking at updates. I don't know if that's the best way to go, honestly. I think we need to have some conversation on that a little bit. I think that we could revamp the semen and embryo inventory along with embryo certificates and all of that ownership as a whole a little better. Right now, members have to generate their embryo certificates in a separate location from their AI semen and embryo inventory, and I think we should group that together a little bit better. Yeah, I guess, so, I guess, is there value to having members be able to, I don't know if we're actually going to be able to have that on the member facing right now. It's something that we need to discuss, because right now you can transfer embryo interest. No, possession and embryo interest, but I have to do the embryo interest. But what I have been working on is setting up a right to flush and being able to do that as you would a natural service agreement, so that you can distinguish between a right to flush and an embryo interest on a cow. But actually doing the embryo interest transfer as a member yourself, I don't know when I can get that ready yet with them. On the bull side, I guess how much value would there be to, so the bull has to be AI permitted for semen for sale for starters in order to be able to do it. And then how much value is there to somebody who has a semen interest versus part owner on, like, possession on the bull? Is there a lot of value there?
Huge. I think that for the breed to be able to move forward, and the more and more that you'll see in these female sales where I'll use a reference, Aaron and Joe have a really cool female, and they'd like to be able to maintain a half embryo interest in that.
Yeah, so the females we have sorted.
But we need to be able to have that show up on a registration paper for ownership, because you cannot get people to invest comfortably into genetics if you can't show what they purchased. And then on a bull, it's even more important because there's more and more people keeping a semen interest in those bulls. And it's a good way to show that you purchased a semen interest in the bull. It shows up on the registration paper. You are a part owner in that bull. But there's a clear defined difference between possession and semen interest.
So I think we have to be a little bit careful here though as the CGA, because it's not the CGA registry's job to manage people's individual contracts. And we can't accommodate every situation in our program. Aaron, do you have a comment?
I was actually going to expand on that, how we dealt with that as being an individual contract with those people. Just because, like Eric alluded to, it's challenging for the association to go every situation and how that business relationship is being really only because these are all work. It would be very challenging for the association to try to accommodate all that online. So we've managed it by doing it, we make a contract as a those people.
Well, why can't it just be that you have a female that you sell me, your
Because right now, we have an issue with even people doing semen sales properly. So this is complicating things quite a bit further. And yes, it may make sense for how business is done, but we can't even get people to AI permit their bulls. They just put in her use semen and list 1% for 20 people. So if we can't even get people to do that, why are we going to revamp this whole thing for 1 or 2 members? I mean, it's a challenge
I get where
that we're facing.
I get where you're coming from, Sarah.
We can't get people to do things properly as it stands.
I understand that it'd be nice to have ownership cap fixed, which then translates back to breeder cap fixed on rodent genetics, which then translates back to available opportunistic investment into the Gelbvieh breed seed stock genetic base, which then translates to breed growth the same way that you could say, well, why would we fund an ultrasound carcass project with less than 2 members use carcass ultrasound in any of the selection tools? But we're still interested in doing that because those little things can develop and funnel breed growth over time.
But there are many members who are interested in ultrasound. They just can't get the person to come to them.
I realize that because it's kind of like all the other things. Once you start it, it does create progress.
We've been doing AI permits since I first started, and we still don't have adoption. Because people don't want to do it the proper way, they want to do it the cheap way. I'm not saying no, but I think, a little bit of patience is going to be warranted so that we can do it once and do it right. No, none. So Limo handles this with cow leases, which is terrible. It's not a lease. One thing how this all actually stemmed from was the appropriate breeder wasn't being listed. And that was the biggest issue that people had and why we started going down this path. But I think we might have an easier fix to that in the embryo certificate generation by clicking a box and indicating who the breeder should be. It's simple.
So for example, like who's over the or something you come like
Yeah.
you
Yeah, so you would generate however many embryos that they had the right to flush with or whatever the case is. You can indicate who the sires are as long as they have a permit, you're fine. And then you check a box and type in their member number as the breeder. And then those certificates go to that person and they can register that many embryos. And it's all managed between yourselves. Whatever your deal is what you're entering. And we don't have to deal with any of the rest of it. But I think we need to maybe not look at overcomplicating it, and maybe we could make things simpler and still achieve the same goal.
We're putting it onto the registry. Do you not open up the PGA into more liability concerns if there's just some of the concerns?
Possibly.
Rather than doing an individual contract.
Yes. And that's why we're kind of looking at this and going, instead of getting more detailed and trying to get it to follow rules that are going to be different for everybody, maybe we just make the ability for the person generating the embryo certificate to indicate who the breeder should be and leave it at that. And then the rest of it is between the buyer and seller. So then it still has the appropriate breeder on the progeny certificate. Is there any other follow-up or questions or comment?
I had one, still with the phone here.
Yeah.
Wanting to know if there is a platform or an option for members within our association to have a group conversation about what they do, what features that they do use within Digital Beef or Step Connect, and what they do try, or what works and what doesn't. For example, when you're using semen inventory,
right.
before that you use
Right.
or other such features. Is there a way that we can have that discussion as to what everybody is using and not using?
I have to give some thought to that. But nothing exists right now. If you have a problem or something's not working well, people are to contact me right now. But as far as like amongst yourselves as members, like we don't have a platform set up. We can look at something like that, certainly. Tara? Right. Yes. 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 Yeah, so for the people online, Tara just said if we're thinking of following up with a survey, it might be useful to have some questions on what features in Digital Beef you are using or aren't using to give us an indication on what features we need to place focus on in further development or advancement in. It's a great suggestion. Thank you. Someone suggested for a platform as a Facebook group chat. Does anybody have anything else they want to talk about under new business?
I'm just gonna say, don't run Digital Beef off. I love Digital Beef compared to what the Red End Strip, they spent $3 million developing their own system and supporting. Don't run Digital Beef off. I realize it's not perfect, I like to keep things safe too, but don't run it off.
Thank you. Anything else? Anything online? Nothing online. Okay. Olivia, did you? No?
Thanks everybody for attending. Meeting adjourned.
See you next year. Yeah.